Well, happy new year, everyone. This podcast is my annual goals podcast where I look at my 2023 goals. I'll share them on the podcast and then tell you the outcomes. Some I accomplished, and this last year I did not. So I'll talk about my goals both as a real estate investor and as a real estate entrepreneur. And then I will talk about my goals looking forward for 2024. So why do I do this? Well, first off, I get huge clarity out of having to write and then articulate my goals. Second, I also get great accountability because hundreds, thousands of people around Colorado hear and read my goals. And so it creates accountability. It also creates opportunity as well. And that is a big reason why I publish the Colorado Real Estate Investing Strategies book every single year. We got the 6th edition for 2024 coming out. Would love to have you as a contributing author in here to share your strategies and goals. Talk about your goals, submit them in the book. The details are in the link. Before we get into goals here, just always a big thank you to everyone. Thanking the community, to the listeners, the viewers, the clients, the team members, all the people I get to talk with, interact with. Just thank you to everyone. I truly appreciate the community, and all the connections I get are always just so enjoyable and a lot of times very impactful. So thank you. All right. So getting on to goals here. So for my 2023 investing goals, and I have my book printed out here from last year and just redlined my goals and made some comments. So my two main real estate investing goals was first, buy another rental property. Because of price points in Denver, I'll probably look in Colorado Springs or Pueblo. The second goal is continue investing passively. All right. So first off, no, I did not buy another rental. And second, I actually sold a rental. And continuing to invest passively, not a very clear or well-written goal. All right. So getting into buying another property. So the original goal was to go out there and buy a property in Pueblo because of price point. But just with what happened with the market, the interest rate spike, which really, suppressed returns that you could see in buying rental properties, I ended up not buying one. In fact, what I ended up doing, and this was not on the radar at the beginning of the year, is actually end up selling another rental property. And this was a property I bought in 2021, and I bought for 15% down payment. And with the last couple of years, I essentially about doubled the money I put into it for a down payment perspective. So I got a great pop there in terms of return. Now, it's a great property going forward. However, it's just going to be not big growth anymore since, appreciation, everything has tapered off. So tenants are out, great opportunity to remodel it, sell it. So did that at the end of Q4 here. And then I did take those proceeds and invest them passively into a deal with REICO on a multifamily value add fund. So I did that because that was the best opportunity I had for the capital there. And also I got some really good depreciation, which helped offset some capital gains on there. And as I was reviewing my 2023 goals, a theme kept appearing in my mind, which was pivot. The market shifted and I needed to pivot my investing strategies. So that's how I kind of sum up 2023 for my investing strategy. Was I pivoted those goals, but also not just for 2023, but it really pivoted my entire investing strategy from the macro level, from the 5-10 year level. And, for 2024 going forward, the theme in my mind this year is buy low, sell high, buy low. So we've all heard the buy low, sell high in, fortune cookies and Wall Street Journal movies. And it's always made sense to me. And that's, been the trajectory of, hey, buy a rental, sell, buy another one, buy low, sell high, and keep doing that. But what happens when kind of what's happened with the Denver market and so many markets around the country where we've had just massive appreciation, and we're going to see things flattening where it's, from a macro standpoint, it is a very high in the market. It's not going to crash, but it's not going to keep going at the same growth rate. So how do you kind of sell high up there and then buy low somewhere else? So one of my paradigm shifts was really taking that concept of buy low, sell high, and then say, okay, if I sell high, I want to buy low somewhere else. And to me, it's clear that buying a lot of these commercial deals, like these big opportunities you can invest in, like passively or as limited partner, these real estate syndications, that's where so much opportunity is, because the interest rate spike kind of made the rental appreciation party over for residential property, but it's wreaking havoc on the commercial side. All these people who bought these properties don't get 30-year fixed interest rates. They get, floating term interest rates or 1, 3, 5-year terms. A lot of them are resetting and they can't refinance the loan. So it's creating a lot of pain over there. So in my mind, that is that market cycle or that market segment is low. So I'm selling high and then buying low. So that's essentially what I did, was selling that rental in Q4 here and then investing passively into multifamily, which is worth buying prices at properties in like 2018, 2019 price ranges for multifamily. So that's a conceptual standpoint there. And that's really, I don't know, for me, from an investor, that was a big paradigm shift for me, because it got me looking at just like a bigger chessboard for how to deploy my capital in real estate with, rental properties, but also all these passive opportunities and how to mix and match and optimize. So it's turning into like a really, first off, fun game, but also a profitable game. So with that, that's very much changed my investing outlook for 2024 and beyond. So I am definitely selling 2 more rentals in 2024. I've got them targeted for Q1 here. And similar story about what I sold the rental this past year is I've actually doubled money and then some. I've gotten a really good return just with the appreciation and some, value add on there. So taking the money and I'm going to kind of sell high and then reinvest into some of these bigger commercial deals as a limited partner. Now, along that same concept of sell high and buy low, I am rolling over actually my wife's one of her old 401ks from her old employer. It's just over $250,000. We're going to roll it over to a self-directed IRA so we can invest passively. Now, from a conceptual level, it's, hey, the stock market, I think, is at a very high standpoint. So sell high and then buy low into real estate deals. And then I've always been conflicted about, how much to invest in stocks and real estate. But year after year, I just consistently get better returns in real estate than I do the stock market. In the stock market, it's just, it's a roller coaster, and I'm fine with that aspect. But I'm making 10% over here in stocks, but I'm making, high teens to 30% on the real estate side. Well, I want to invest more money over there. So I am going to roll that over in Q1, and I'll really go through all the details on it as I do it, so others can, learn from it, because I have done a little bit this last couple of years, and now I'm moving more and more money from other assets into real estate. And another reason I'm shifting, more assets and more capital into passive investing, it's not just the financial return combination. I mean, that's obviously a very big driver of it. But then I kind of evaluate the other aspects of my life, because all investments, they take some time. And I want to be more in like a capital deploying, more an investing mindset versus operating the real estate properties or projects myself. So between the sweet spot of, hey, how can I maximize my return, minimize my time, minimize my skill set, and also minimize my liability, it's kind of like the sweet spot for me. And a lot of this has to come back to say, kind of buy low and sell high. With when interest rates were ultra low, it was relatively easy to go out there and find a really, really good deal, and you could triple your money like I did. Now it's a lot tougher. So that's why I'm moving a lot more of my capital over there. All right, so to recap my goals, I'm going to sell 2 rentals in Q1 of 2024. I'm going to roll over my wife's old 401k into a self-directed IRA in Q1 2024. Invest the proceeds all across passive investments. And then I have a couple other rental properties as well. I'm getting to more details on how to best sell and redeploy that capital, but that'll probably be like the second half of 2024. All right. Now, that said, that kind of wraps up the real estate investing side. Now, if you're out there listening or watching into this, please submit your chapters to the book. Every year, I've had more and more investors around Colorado submit their chapter. And so one of my personal goals is to always have at least one more chapter from one more author in the book every single year. So write down your goals, submit it. I would love to have you in this book. All right, so let's pivot to the business goals here. And so same thing, I'll go through my 2023 business goals and then talk about what I wrote down, then what happened, and discuss 2024 goals. Now, what's been two interesting points on here is I've had a lot of like really cool connections, just, meet and greets and conversations and, coffee and over a drink, just talking with other like entrepreneurs about, what I'm doing, what they're doing. So I've really enjoyed that. And I've been very surprised by how many people have reached out to connect on these topics. Secondly, from like the marketing analytics standpoint, on social media and YouTube, this content performs really, really well. So I'm going to talk a little bit more than I usually do because apparently people like it and I enjoy it because I get to meet a lot more entrepreneurs. All right. So with that said, 2023, because of the real estate market, it created some pivots and also created new opportunities. And that's just the name of the game. So starting off with Envision Advisors. So my goals for 2023 were to add 2 to 4 agents based on geography and or niches. Check. Yes, added 2. I got Newt and Steve up north. Second goal was to expand in northern Colorado, which was Newt and Steve. The third main goal was to lay the groundwork to expand into the mountains. And no, never made any significant progress on there. Again, that was just market conditions and interest rate. So still on the radar, but did not make any progress in 2023. So for 2024 goals for Envision Advisors, very similar goals. Add 2 to 4 more agents based on geography or niches. That is really one of the superpowers that's combining, what we do with Envision Advisors, which is taking, very niche areas or places and helping investors go out there and have success. So for example, like we're really fun podcast and a new personality we have coming on is Paul Del Salvo. We did a podcast with him, I think it hit October, November this year. Retired firefighter here in Denver, built an amazing real estate portfolio. And so great success story. And he has the niche of helping firefighters go out there and invest in real estate. So adding more people like, just Paul and other people like that, because it adds more value and gets us access to more audience. And from a high level in terms of like not just wanting to, get eyeballs or add value, but helping people execute. The best way is through, certain niches like Paul or certain geographic locations. So excited to add a couple more agents to Envision Advisors next year with that. All right, so 2023 goals review for Curtis Street Media. I wrote on there, not clear. And this has always been one of the goal-setting issues I've had with Curtis Street Media. Is it's very hard to set direct goals for it because so much of the value and the traction is the networking at scale, which is, through the podcast, it creates all the content, all the conversations, it creates a lot of opportunity. But those last part of 2023, it really became clear what the opportunity was. It got traction. So I'm really excited on how Curtis Street Media has just evolved from a company. And any fellow entrepreneurs, you can sense, or if you're a fellow entrepreneur and also have a family, I very much view each business as, they're different kids and they have different, different phases. And so it's very fun to see it evolve and grow. And I'm just very excited with how Curtis Street Media has evolved this last year. And so a lot of the opportunity around it's created is from our ability to go out and create high quality content, but also the brand building. More and more people are realizing, more and more businesses are realizing the power of brand or using the thought leadership, go out there and position themselves to create, value, create audience, and also create opportunity for them. So we have a lot of really cool strategic relationships with just some top-notch real estate people around the community in the pipeline. So I will be giving details later on, but it's going to be great for education. It'll be great for opportunity. It'll be great for some investment pipeline as well. And the other area that Curtis Street Media has really got a lot of traction on is around the concepts we talk about, not just in Denver and Colorado Springs and the local stuff, but the other big theme has been around the return on equity, how to go out there and optimize your portfolio, balance your portfolio. What do you do with all that equity? And so that concept right there is not just specific to Denver and Springs and Colorado. A lot of other markets around the country have experienced what the Front Range has. And so it's been really exciting to see the growth of that, and it's created some really powerful opportunities, bigger pockets, where I'm excited to share that they have asked us to create one video a month on the YouTube channel around some of these advanced real estate investing concepts. So that's great from just a brand exposure and also just a really fun challenge to do, because it's educating more people at scale and doing like, a 10 or 12 or 13-minute video. But that very much also plays into like a lot of the goals for Curtis Street Media going into 2024, which is continuing to create high quality content here for Colorado, but also expanding into some more niches and markets, with like that return on equity thought leadership. So you'll see a lot more of it come out this year with just like really great educational content, which will also lead to opportunities downstream. Now, a big part of the growth with Curtis Street Media just goes hand in hand with Property Llama. And reading the chapter from my 2023 goals for Property Llama, it reads Property Llama, the real estate investor dashboard. And it starts off with talking about a portfolio analysis mastermind that we did at the end of 2022 last year. And what that was, we had like over 600 people, mostly around Colorado, register for it to come learn how to optimize their portfolio. And while we had, huge numbers from it, and it tracked into a lot of like, deals for Envision and some deals into some of these bigger passive, this last year, I've been able to talk to so many other investors and other like fellow real estate agents and just hear the feedback. And I've had so many success stories of people having like a paradigm shift of, hey, I need to trade out of this property, I need to unlock this property and go do this. So that's been very rewarding to me, and also a green light to like, wow, we have a lot of traction on here. Again, that kind of loops back to the Curtis Street Media goals of taking these concepts and expand nationally as well. All right, so the goals for 2023 in Property Llama, I had 3 written down here, and there's a lot to talk about here. The first one is continuing to build out features to make Property Llama the best tool for real estate investors. So sounds great, not very clear, but I'll tell you from a high level, absolutely added lots of great features that made it easier to optimize people's portfolios and make the system a lot more self-sufficient. Big shout out to Richard and Alona, my co-founders of Property Llama. They run and build and make that all amazing. And yes, we have checked that one off. All right, the second goal. Create an educational-based marketing funnel to drive investors to create accounts and learn how to analyze their portfolio. So essentially what that is taking the portfolio analysis mastermind that we did last year with our 600 Colorado people and then automate that more and then make it not Colorado specific, but national, because so many other real estate investors have that need out there on how to analyze, understand, and then make portfolio moves. So long story short, and if there's anyone out there that are internet marketing geeks, let me know, because we can geek out on some really fun data. But we spent a lot of time and invested a lot of resources, both time and financially, into building out some really top-notch webinar funnels. And we blew away our expectations. We ended up ending with about a $20 real estate millionaire lead when we ran these ads against like national cold traffic. So I'm just sharing that number because I know a lot of you guys know marketing out there. So just like amazing results from like a CPA standpoint of getting, contact details and also data into the system to help them analyze their portfolio. And I'll talk more about that because that's also what led to part of our pivot. And I'll talk about that for our 2024 goals. The third was to build a sales team to grow and sell Property Llama with real estate agents and professionals. And this is part of, we did not accomplish that goal. Like what we did in the beginning of the year, we put together some courses, some content, and some programs go out there and help agents weave it into their brokerage, kind of what I've done with Envision Advisors. Long story short, it was just a very hard thing to go out there and help people implement it and then teach them all the knowledge we have to go out there and be able to scale the portfolio analysis, because that was always a big friction point, was the knowledge transfer. So it became clear to us that, yes, agents, a lot of investors wanted this, but rather than trying to teach thousands of people go out there and basically do what me and a handful of other people do on the team, it's better to scale that through the online education, better, functionality in the software, and also scaling up our staff so we can talk with more investors. So with that, the 2023 was same thing, major pivot for Property Llama. So a huge opportunity materialized, because as we were analyzing all these portfolios and also seeing those shifts in the real estate trends of so many attractive passive deals coming up, we realized, hey, this is a way we can go out there and build a great business and not just help people analyze their portfolio, but help people go out there and invest their portfolio through some passive deals that we can put together. So a question I've gotten on here is, okay, well, the deals that you're able to put together, like the passive investing deals you're able to put together through Property Llama, are those the same that you see on CrowdStreet or people promoting on LinkedIn? From a high level, no, it's not. And this is what's been part of like the opportunity. And whenever I get into a business or start a business, I want to carve out an area where I can just add extreme value. And the way the stars have aligned on this is kind of like one of those like, wow, this is extreme value we can add. Because there's a lot of amazing deal operators out there, like the Terrence Doyles and these people that just run $100 million funds and projects, and they are amazing at doing deals. And fundraising is not their full-time job. And so they usually work with a few people that can write big checks. But two trends going on here is they see a lot of these, investors, active landlords like us, how much money we have in rental properties. Hey, they know people want to invest in there. So they want access to those investors, which we can batch and take a lot of like small $100,000, $200,000 checks and write 7-figure checks. But when we have like the media assets with the Curtis Street media side, a lot of them also realizing the power of brands, then go out there and scale their business, recruit more, go out there and create more connections for deal flow and also stimulate their network of investors. So it's creating this like really interesting and really like amazing opportunity where we have a lot of investors that want to continue to invest in real estate and want to kind of follow that same theme of sell high and then buy low in other asset classes. So Property Llama has turned into not just a way for investors to like analyze their portfolio and understand it. And again, that's our number one value right there, is to provide that value so people can understand their portfolio. And hopefully through that, we earn the ability to help them go out there and invest in one of these deals. And so that is the business plan right there. But through all this, it's creating a really fun opportunity for like me and the rest of the team, where we can get access to these like really big, attractive deals and help like groups of hundreds of investors, eventually thousands of investors through Property Llama as we scale nationally, invest into here. So hopefully you're following the track record there, because I am very excited about this. And the punchline is we can help active investors invest passively and optimize their portfolio from the active and also like their passive portfolio balancing side. So in 2023, this was never on the goal. We ended up starting to do a fundraising deal for Property Llama, where we are raising capital to help get the business started. Now, every business I've started, I've always had the bootstrap mentality, where it's been, I have started it with all my own money and bootstrapped it with, hey, I made money and reinvested the profits. But what became clear here was the time in the marketplace. I mentioned, what great success we're having with getting these leads in from our national ads campaign. What amazing interest we're having from these sponsors who can absorb tens of millions of dollars, and we're in a very like timely part of the market where we can scale and capture a lot of market share. But we have to like be able to dump gasoline in the fire. So like while the bootstrapping would work, it just wouldn't happen fast enough. So it's been really exciting to go out there and start raising money for Property Llama on the business. And I appreciate all of our investors who've invested. I appreciate our team members who've taken stock options on there. It's a very exciting time, a huge compliment to me and also Richard and Lona, my fellow co-founders. And I'm very excited to go out there and continue to just raise for that business and build it. So I have a lot more to talk about Property Llama. I will be doing a webinar sometime in probably January, February with a lot more details on that business. So if you're interested as an investor or just interested as an entrepreneur, make sure you check out that webinar. If it's not in the show note links, email me and I'll send it to you when we have it scheduled. So that wraps up my 2023 goal review and 2024 goal planning. Now, what I always end in my chapter every year is the phrase, keep working harder and smarter. Now, I like to end on that because that's how I view my work ethic is I work hard. I work really hard. I grind day in and day out, which I love to do. But I want to make sure I'm doing it smartly. I want to make sure I'm always working towards the light at the end of the tunnel as quickly as possible. So that's what I always like to focus on is, hey, what am I doing in terms of like my activities from like my time, my bandwidth, my expertise, my capital? Where are the areas that is working the hardest and the smartest for me? So I always like to take that focus and position for myself, and hope that's a great reminder for you out there to just review all the activities you're doing and ask, hey, is this activity is working hard and smart for me? Because if it's not, I could make the case you should probably cut it or outsource it or potentially pivot from there, because I think the working hard and smart is obviously the way to go. Anyway, with all that said, thank you for listening and watching. I'm excited to read all people's chapters for this book and have lots of conversations. So let's make it a great 2024, everyone.